Hey guys, it's Nick from This here, and today I have a video that I'm very excited about. As somebody who loves seeing guest characters in video games, this is by far the hardest ranked video I've ever worked on. It's really tough to narrow it down to only 5 characters. There's just so many great guests that have been in different fighting games over the years. I feel bad leaving so many out of the list, but to me, these are the best of the best. Kratos, Mortal Kombat 9. It only makes sense I start my list off with Mortal Kombat 9's Kratos. Kratos is one of my favorite fictional characters ever, and without a doubt one of the most fitting guests to ever appear in a Mortal Kombat game. Kratos has such a huge arsenal full of different weapons and equipment, perfect for a fighting game. I wasn't too big into the fighting game scene when this game first released, so outside of Soul Calibur games, Kratos was the first time I had heard about a guest character in a fighting game. They even gave him a new stage with multiple stage fatalities, a badass X-ray and fatality, and even went as far as to change his animations for certain fatalities to make Kratos look more tough than the other fighters. I always enjoyed seeing the amount of effort that was put into the Ghost of Sparta, and that's why he's on my list at number 5. Cole McGrath, Street Fighter X Tekken. Kratos isn't the only PlayStation exclusive character to be a guest in the fighting game universe. I would bet Cole isn't on a lot of people's radars when it comes to fighting game guests, but I'll never forget about his inclusion in Street Fighter X Tekken. The crossover game between the two fighting game titans had a handful of interesting guest characters, such as Mega Man, PacMan, Toro and Kuro, and yes, my boy Cole McGrath from the Infamous games. He was added because Infamous 2 had just released a year prior and was still a very popular exclusive. The developers thought Cole's moveset would work perfect for a fighting game, and they were absolutely right. Cole's moveset in Street Fighter X Tekken is lots of fun and true to the source material. I would have loved if they gave Cole a second variation for his evil karma, as the movesets are drastically different from one another, but nonetheless, I'm just happy to say that I can play as another one of my favorite fictional characters in a fighting game. I also thought Cole looked pretty cool in the Street Fighter art style. That puts McGrath at number 4. Leatherface, Mortal Kombat X. Leatherface over Jason and Freddy? Huh? Hear me out. As much as I loved Freddy and Jason's inclusion in Mortal Kombat, it made sense. Freddy is a manipulator of the Dream Realm, which gives him a huge array of abilities, and Jason is an undead freak with a number of his own powers and abilities as well. So, really, they're both perfect fits for Mortal Kombat. Leatherface? He's got brute strength, a chainsaw, and a big Texas heart. That's it. No superpowers, no abilities. So that's why I still remember to this day my reaction of absolute shock that Leatherface was coming to Mortal Kombat X. Out of all the horror icons they could have picked, it was him? I love it. It was a dream come true for me to be able to kick ass as Leatherface, and they really did do him justice in-game. Everything about him was well done, and there was a lot of research done, as even his variations were all different versions of Leatherface that have appeared across the Texas Chainsaw franchise. Not to mention his memorable dialogue in the game. Leatherface was my main in MKX, and for all these reasons, he's number 3. Barney the Dinosaur, Xenophage, Alien Bloodsport. Yeah, I'm not making that up. Barney the Dinosaur is in a fighting game. Usually Barney and fighting don't go in the same sentence, but the developers behind Xenophage, Alien Bloodsport took one look at Barney and said, "God damn, sign that monster up to our bloody fighting game right now." I'll be totally honest, I've never played this game before. When I found out Barney was on the roster though, you better believe I ran to my PC to download and play this masterpiece myself. Game is your pretty basic run-of-the-mill 90s fighter, but it has Barney, so ultimately it's the best fighting game ever made. Just for the sheer absurdity of this alone, I had to include it on my list, as I'm certain this game would have fallen into forgettable obscurity if not for this fact alone. I couldn't really find much info on the hows or whys, but I'm assuming it was an unofficial crossover, as I really don't see the license holder for Barney being up for this.
Actually, Nickfamus, his name is literally Blonny.
Well, whatever, Barney is number 2 on the list. Next, we need Pee Wee Herman in Mortal Kombat. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Injustice 2. Of course, the number 1 spot on my list is going to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I always wanted them in an Injustice game, as the Ninja Turtles have appeared in DC Comics multiple times, even meeting Batman. Sure, they aren't your traditional caped superheroes, but almost any kid growing up in the last 30 years knows these heroes in a half-shell. NRS really nailed their inclusion, as it wasn't just one guest character, but 4. You could customize the turtle to be whichever one you wanted, and their moveset, weapons, design, and personality changes for each turtle. I really thought this was the best way that any fighting game has included a guest character so far. They're really fun to play, and seeing them interact with the DC universe was a dream come true. If Injustice 3 ever happens, I think it'll be hard to top the Ninja Turtles with whatever guests they include next time. So that was my top 5, but I'm not done yet. I want to go and talk about some runner-ups, in no specific order. Negan in Tekken 7. I'm not a big Walking Dead fan, but even I loved seeing Negan in Tekken 7. It was such a random inclusion, but a very fun one at that. And I love annoying my friends with Negan's one-liners.
Not cool.
Ryu and Chun-Li, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Even though the Power Rangers fighting game was a bit of a letdown, the crossover with Street Fighter is definitely worth mentioning. It's even better that Ryu and Chun-Li got redesigned as Rangers for their appearance. Darth Vader, Soul Calibur 4. Soul Calibur is always loved including random guests in their installments, and I really enjoyed Darth Vader and Yoda being in the different versions of Soul Calibur 4. Lightsabers are perfect for a fighting game. Enough said. Arbiter, Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct 2013 had a couple of cool guest inclusions, but none were more memorable to me than Arbiter. As a kid who grew up on Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2, I thought that was amazing to see. I really enjoyed his energy sword combos and all the different references to Halo in his moveset. PacMan, Street Fighter X Tekken. As I mentioned earlier, yes, PacMan is playable in a fighting game too. Since he appeared in Street Fighter X Tekken, they gave him a mech made out of a Tekken character, Makujin. There's something so hilarious and adorable about innocent, cartoony little Pac-Man clobbering the shit out of his opponents in a mech. So there we have it. Those were my favorite guests to appear in fighting games over the years. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, this was tough to narrow down, which is why I included so many runner-ups. Be sure to let me know who your favorites are, and subscribe for more fighting game content. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, this has been Nickfamous. See you later.
Let's see how he likes a Kamehameha!